So it started in 1999. Oh, I should get the microphone, shouldn't I?
I placed it on the table because there are two speakers.
Oh, even better. I'll talk loud.
Yeah.
So it was written, the first version of the wiki was written by Jean-Claude Whippler. It was arguably is now the second longest wiki, second oldest wiki in existence. The first one is the C2 wiki by Ward Cunningham, who invented the term wiki. It had, it was quite minimal, but it did come with a web and a TK renderer, which is kind of cool. It could be deployed as a starkit, and it used the Metakit database for its storage. And I mention that because it's actually important to some of the decisions we have to make. Over time, the wiki has changed. Way back when, I took it and made it so you can use it for embedding documentation into starkits. And that was kind of cool. Still is cool, but nobody uses it. We moved from Metakit to SQLite, mainly because Kevin Kenny was doing the work, and Kevin was familiar with SQLite. The web server changed from an embedded web server to WAB, mainly because Colin was doing the work. But then that became the test bed for coroutines. Colin and Miguel worked together very closely on this. And it was really the wiki that drove the testing and the honing of the non-reentrant engine, or hopefully soon to be called the Sophia trampoline. The search is an interesting story. It started off by linear search through the tables, and that became too slow when Bing was invented, because Bing was constantly hitting the search URL and Wiki was grinding to a halt. So we outsourced that all to Google. And then when Richard implemented FTS in SQLite, we said, we can use SQLite to do the searching, and we brought it back. Over the time, there's been more and more markup added, specialized markup to help with wiki naming. Joss will talk about some of that. And in 2008, Joss and I gave it a bit of a makeover, and we put some more styling in and made it look a bit fancier, and it really brought it up to the 1990s. Anyway, there's a bunch of issues that we've got. It really is time for another makeover. And one of the issues is the page numbers. Pages are numbered, not named. And that goes all the way back to Metakit, because Metakit is a column-wise storage database, memory mapped, and it's incredibly efficient if you are indexing numbers. And so that's why the pages were numbers. That's not really good if you want to search on Google and it comes back with a number in the page. It's non-intuitive. Searching, the FTS searching, the results were never as good as the ones that came out of Google, to the extent that I never use it. I always use Google to search the wiki. There's issues with page curation. There's issues with spam. We'll take this out of the video later. I don't want to give the spammers a heads up, but basically we now have a Bayesian filter behind the existing wiki and the new wiki, and it does searches on word patterns and all the rest of it. The spammers, you might have noticed that we were having hundreds of spam messages every day. We've got it down to a few a week now, and what it does is it strips out punctuation, does a few other things, fires it through the Bayesian filter. We're tuning the Bayesian filter all the time. I noticed this morning the spammers are now putting dashes in there. So Joss and I just stripped those out this morning. Why are they doing it? To get links back. It's the link count thing. So we have to do some more with spam. The look and feel really needs to be updated, and one real problem is code maintenance. Maintaining this hunk of archaic code is just, it's too much time, too much energy. So we need to look at modern look and feel. There's a whole bunch of things we can now do for third-party support for things like caching and so forth, so we don't have to maintain that stuff ourselves. We want to put more support in for curation and improve markup. So the new wiki is called Nikit. N as in new wiki, Nikit as in stolen code. Let me point a few things out before I hand over to Joss. Cloudflare on the front. Anyone not familiar with Cloudflare? Definitely have a look at it, cloudflare.com. I'll show you, it's distributed network proxy that does caching, it does threat mitigation, a few other things. The new wiki uses a bootstrapped CSS. Nginx is the web server. Nginx is a proxying web server. And it just passes it through via SCGI to individual Tcl scripts that are the original old Wicket code as evolved. The cool thing about this approach is we can have one writer. As SQLite's really good if you've got one writer and multiple readers. Joss can go into all of that stuff. But with SCGI, it means that each of these can be a single process, no thread. Really simple to program. Request comes in, serve it up, pass some results. So it's easy to maintain. It hands off to TDBC as it always has, and Google Search on the back end. The whole thing runs on a $20 a month Linode. So it really is a nice architecture.
How many readers do you have to provision the readers, right?
Yeah.
How many readers do you provision at one time? Is that easily adjustable, or does it change dynamically based on need?
No, sorry, well, Joss will answer that one.
It's how you configure it in the Nginx config file. There's
So
nothing.
Nginx takes care of starting them up.
Yeah,
No, you have to start the SCGI clients. You have to start them yourself, and then you can let Nginx use them.
Okay.
So in the previous company I was talking about, we use the same architecture, and we've got scripts that are run by cron once a minute that have a look at what needs to be started. So we could make it dynamic. The reason I grinned when you asked that question is we've got no idea how many we need. and one of the reasons why is because we're using Cloudflare. So let me just quickly show you this. There you go. So this is the Cloudflare console. This is live now. So Cloudflare, on the wiki, we've had just under 800,000 requests. This is the existing wiki, okay, not the new one. 800,000 requests in the last week, of which nearly 500,000 were served out of their cache. That's not bad, and uncached. So, and you can see that it peaks when you've got daytime in Europe and US overlapping. You've basically got about 90,000 requests a day, and of which the majority are being served out of cache. So we don't know what it's going to take in terms of the number of readers, but readers are cheap. We could start a dozen up. It's not going to hurt a Linode. So you know that, Richard.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just wondering how automated it was. I mean, it sounds like you've got to go modify the Nginx config file and then send the signal to Nginx to get it to reread its config file and then manually start the...
How it works in the other project, and I may bring it across, is there's a single file which has a number in it.
Okay,
And there's a cron job once a minute that looks at that number, and if the number has changed, it just does the stuff.
Okay.
The thing is, the reason it's in a single file is that we can then have a smart system looking at the usage loads and adjusting that number.
Right.
And the reason we do it off the back of cron is, if you don't run systemd, there's some chance cron will keep running. That's a joke for the Linux people here. Joss, it's your turn, sir. Joss has done most of the hard work. I just wave my arms and say, how about?
I show some things we've been changing. Is that display stuff?
Do you want VGA?
No, I don't care.
This
You
is
can
DisplayPort.
here.
It was DisplayPort.
I can use this one too.
Good luck. I'll let you do it. One of the things we were just commenting on is it's really great to speak at a conference because you finish all the work that you were supposed to finish months ago.
See, deadlines matter.
They do, yeah. Whoosh.
No.
I'm standing by with this thing.
Yeah.
Let's go DisplayPort. I need to put power in first. USB. I'm learning. I'll get there. Hang on. That's not right. Oh, that's right. There it is. What have I lost? Oh, I know what I've lost. This is worth the wait. So this is the world premiere of the new wiki. And we're really keen to get feedback. There's been maybe a dozen people in the community who've actually been playing around with it. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So I try to walk through some of the things we've changed.
Ha! You put my name first.
Being
Your
polite.
name should be first.
So about
Yeah.
I'll repeat some things probably Steve already said, but okay. So we're still using SQLite, about the same database layout as Kevin used in the 2007 rewrite together with Colin. We switched from the page IDs to the page name as primary keys in the tables. We have several reader processes and one writer process. And we try to serialize all the writes so that we don't get any problems there. This is a very rough overview. There are no more, these are all the tables there are in the database.
Yes.
Push the red bar and don't look down the barrel.
Oh, turn it around, please.
Huh? Back? Oh. I'm not used to. So we have the pages table, just the page name, for the last edit. Then we split into text pages and images, binary content. With this one will contain the latest edit, and then the tables below they are used to store the history. The text pages, the history is stored with the diff format. For the binary changes, we just store everything. Then we have some lookup tables for referenced and included pages. A table with users, I'll come into that later on. And then we have the full text search table for SQLite. And we still need to consider whether we keep it or because we provide now that when you have the proper login permission that you can run queries directly on the database from within your browser. So this will kind of remove the need for the full text search. But we'll see. So I converted the database. So the primary keys, empty pages removing, keeping the old page IDs for all the links on the internet to page 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the results of converting. Currently, I think last Friday, we had about 44,000 pages, of which 27,000 are empty, created with errors in the past, with clicking. So we keep about 13,000 pages and 1,600 images stored in the database. And there are some duplicate tables, missing other stuff that we skip, but you see there are. Or pages which look like a text page in one table, but seem to be images in another table. So actually, problems in the database I still need to fix. So the new system will also not create pages at the moment that you save a page with a link in square brackets to them, but they will show in red, and only when you click on it, the page will be created. In the hope of, what we had very often today is someone puts in a script and all the square bracket commands they become new pages in the database, which is less than efficient. So it's the SCGI Steve talked about. It really actually started out as a test for me to get to know what is this Apache thing about, and then I discovered we can use Nginx exists also, just as what is there in the world of this HTTP servers. I normally work on compilers and simulators, so it was an all new world for me. So I just was experimenting with this stuff, and we came to this architecture with SCGI on top of Nginx. Steve had been the Cloudflare and so on. So we'll have to do Nginx, the load balancing if needed, but to start off, it will be by hand and see what's needed. We don't know really how good Cloudflare can protect us from excessive loads and so on. Nginx, it's pretty scalable, easy to configure, and you find a lot of help and info of it on the internet. With Web, we had a solution very much contained in one Tcl script. You had everything you needed, but sometimes it was difficult to find the right information to reach Colin. So this ended up in my experiments to get to know some things about what's going on beside compilers. So then there's the markup. I rewrote the markup library from Jean-Claude. It's still a state machine, but I can find my way through it now. It was very complicated in the past. It did what it had to do. I still need to hammer out some bugs, especially with URL references and so on. But we'll have to work on that. for the most, it's compatible with the old Wikit markup. If you see things not being rendered right, it's a bug in my code. It should be fully compatible with the Wikit markup. We don't only support the Wikit markup, but also you can have pages in HTML. We have support for the Markdown markup style. And you can generate pages with Tcl on the fly with running in a safe interpreter with CPU limits.
Just to emphasize that one, that means you can have a wiki page that has code, Tcl code in the page, and if someone hits the page, it runs the code, generates the content, and then Cloudflare caches it. So until that page changes again, it won't be rerun.
Yeah. That's the idea of having the Cloudflare on top of it and caching everything until we signal, okay, the page has changed.
Just on that one, the other thing, Martin, with Cloudflare on the front, doing the caching, we love spiders. Currently, we hate spiders because they're using up all the resources. We're going to encourage spiders because they're actually preloading the cache for us.
So, yeah, the style, Steve already mentioned things. It's based on the Bootstrap library from, I think, Twitter has released that. So it's a kind of responsive layout. I show some things around. Now, instead of the menu on the left side, it has the menu on the top. You will see those changes pretty soon. Okay, maybe I switch to I'm running this on a virtual machine on my computer here. So this is the layout. Okay, what the contents of this page? Yeah, it's mostly testing that I've been doing. So you see the menu on top where you can go to the different wiki items for this page or user login items. So the responsive layout. It should adapt, and when you have a phone, you'll get a hamburger icon and get to the menus like this. This is not really any code you have to write for this. You get it from the Bootstrap stuff. So then I wanted to talk about the detailed recent changes. Today in the wiki, the recent changes will only show you the most recent edit. But yeah, of course, at least when I edit a page, I need 5 takes to get all the writing errors out of it. So you can get here, you can ask the more detailed lookout, and then you see all the edits which has been done. You can also, I'll speak later on about you saw this edit was flagged as a minor edit. It won't show up in the normal recent changes, but still it's there. So this is something for people gnoming the wiki to inspect what has been going on here. You can see, oh, this page seemed to have been an island.
You can level with them. It's to keep Nathan's crap out of the recent changes.
Yeah. But to see what's going on a page or whatever, this may be a good for people gnoming around, but not if you're just visiting the wiki and want to know what has been done there.
It's the single biggest feature we were asked for, was the ability to hide minor edits. It'd be interesting in people's feedback on that.
Yeah. So we will also be providing some kind of access control to the wiki. As first setup, we would really try to keep it as it is today. So everyone can read, everyone can edit, but there are in the background some, we can allow people with more access rights to do this minor editing thing, to delete pages, to rename pages, and to have more access to the inner workings. So you have actually 2 kinds of logins. Today, when you edit a page or when you're going to a more compute-intensive page, you have to provide your username. A username, it's actually just a cookie that you're giving. That's the edit login I'm talking about here. And then there's also the session login. That's where you really get maintainer privileges or admin privileges that you can do more than just editing. I had the different pages. This will list all the possibilities, all the possible URLs you can use with the required access rights you need. But I won't go through each of them in detail. I show some of them later on in the demo. So this is how it kind of works. But with one configure page, that's the access rules, you can get it will work like the wiki today. Every page, everyone can read and write it, or you can have kind of a content management system where everyone can read, but only trusted users can write the database. Or you can have a setup where you have a couple of people maintaining Tcl, and they can edit the Tcl pages, and a couple of people who get the TK privilege, they can do the TK stuff. We could give some privilege to people to maintain the message of the day or something like that. Yeah, if that's needed, there's some more access control built into the thing now. Currently in the wiki you're using now, it's, yeah, you can do anything on any page, which had some problems in the past, but yeah. And there's the minor edits thing. I show, just edit any page. Let's redirect. So here in the menus you can go to the different functionalities. You can edit a page, yeah. I can do a minor edit, and then you can save it as a minor edit here below. If you look at the recent changes, my change won't be on top, but if I look at the details, you'll get it as a minor edit there. So just fixing a typo or a bug in a script won't yeah, mess up the recent changes, things like that. So, but if you go to the page history, of course, you can still see what the people have been doing here. So here you have the minor edit column where you can see, okay, this, and then do the comparison and so on. There's also a feature which was available in the current wiki, but which changed a little bit. You can see which line has been edited by who on this page. But what we tried with the current wiki is that always try to render the markup, which sometimes messed up everything because someone fixed the markup thing, and then in this line, this space it did so. So now I show the raw text with an annotation here from who did edit that contents on which date and so on. Comparing two pages, I think most of you already tried that. I go to the history. I select two versions here and I compare the versions. The comparison is now also only shown on the markup itself, not on the rendering. For the same reason, I've often found that looking at rendered diffs really made it difficult to see what changed when you're most interested in editing the thing. We had the Google search. I don't know whether my virtual machine will be able to go through it here. So you get all the Steves on the wiki. Yeah, a lot of Steves on the wiki. We have 10 more pages of Steves on the wiki, but yeah. So we still need to do some work on integrating this better in the new wiki, but we have the basic functionality there. Sometimes when you do searches, I think you get some advertisements too from Google, so we need to decide how to handle those.
Strip them out.
Yeah. So I still, you can still go to search, which then you get the old search directly based on the FTS. But yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to keep this because it's kind of redundant because you can now run the queries directly from the database. So this is the wrong query looking for Tcl on the Tcl wiki. But this is on a very limited virtual machine here on my laptop. So the history pages I showed you already. You see here the date created, who modified it, minor edit or not, and then also an indication whether we detected this as spam or not. Currently today, when we see pages as spam, we have to go in there on the machine by hand and run it to the Bayesian filters. With this, when you have the right privilege, you can mark pages as spam, or pages detected as spam, you can mark them as valid pages again. So this will make it for people maintaining the wiki easier to handle the load of spam that we have been getting the last months. So the spam indication will be present in the history too. I have a very bad filter here. If I have spam in the name, it will detect as spam. So this is another thing. When the system recognizes your page as spam, it will call the Google reCAPTCHA stuff, and then you can just at least to see that you're not a machine. It's not you no longer have to try to guess this house number you used to get on the wiki, but you can click that you're not a robot. Sometimes when he still thinks you're a robot, you get around this time you get most often some pictures, and you have to click the pictures with a mountain or with a bicycle. It's pretty easy, but yeah. So it still keeps reminding this page was considered spam by our wiki, and we're not rendering it. We're just showing the markup there, and then in the history you can see this here. It's being flagged as a spam. When you go to the recent changes, it's not shown. But when you go to the details, you see here this edit was detected as spam. I hope the person of this page is not offended that I made it spam. So when we go back to the history, we can mark it as no spam, and okay, we can now render it again, and all fine.
And if you now mark it as spam as well,
Yeah.
remove or restore the old content?
It will.
Restore the old content?
No, the content is not changed. Huh? So it's just you made an edit with a certain content. The content is maintained, but it's flagged as spam on the top. And with this flag, you can choose whether it's really spam or not. But there's nothing deleted in the database because it was spam. We keep it.
So Josh just happened to use the word spam to indicate spam.
Yeah. My filter is if glop string matches spam.
Oh, yeah, we can flip back to the previous.
Yeah, yes. That's already there today, but you have to do it by hand. You go to the history page, maybe, and you can choose here revert to. Maybe I want to revert to that previous version. You go to the edit, and then you save it as a minor edit this time, and I get back to the old content. But the spam will still be somewhere in the database.
Would such a page be visible to spies?
No, we don't. We don't show it in the recent changes. There will be not. It will be difficult for them to find.
Be one last motivation for spammers to try.
Well, it will be very hard for automated spam to get into the database because we have this spam detection and you have to pass the reCAPTCHA. So I think using this reCAPTCHA from Google in between is an extra protection because they are probably the first one to know who's spamming around.
And then obviously who did the last change? You just get the date of the last change on the...
It's in the history still.
Yeah. Yeah, I made some changes to what's being printed here too. Yeah. But you can always find out in the history. Yeah. Okay, when you're creating new pages, I try to make it a little more friendly. I can enter a page name here. Then it will ask what type of pages you want to do. You want to upload a text or an image or just edit it. Let's edit it. So just this extra step in between, because today when you created a new page, you got to the edit window, and then you had to be very careful if you wanted to upload an image, because the first edit decides whether it will be a text page or an image page, and you can't change it afterwards. So I hope with this extra step in between, it will be easier to just to not make the wrong choice. The queries you can then for this. This is the replacement for the full text search we could do, but for this you need a maintainer privilege. you get result. If you
Drop table pages.
yeah, why not? You can delete from here. So.
Yeah, maybe we should wrap this in a transaction and.
So you get your results here, and you can easily click through to the pages that you selected on the name.
This is not an end user tool.
Is this?
This is not an end user tool.
No, no, no. It's not. We're not going to open this to everyone. Okay, renaming the pages. I think that's already possible today too, but we implement it with a redirect. So we keep the original wrongly named page and we put a redirect there to another page. Can show such a redirect. So I have a page with my GDC acronyms, and it redirects to my page with full name. You can go back there, and if you look at it, you see with this edit, and then you can. Okay, this was a test. You can specify a reason, but I get there right away. So renaming pages, deleting pages. It's also only possible if you have maintainer accesses, and it will delete from the database completely. We don't leave any traces, so it's different from with this spam or whatever. Gone is gone, so you have to be careful if you delete a page. You can't restore it except from the backup, I guess. There was also a question to list the activity of users, who's been doing what, and of course the most active editors. So, I mean, you get the list of what has this guy been doing these days.
Sure hasn't been sleeping.
So also with this, all this login stuff, you can ask, who am I really on this system today? It lists your login, your edit login. It's listed here. But if your session login and your privileges, you can query them like this. There are still a lot of these pages with just you have to enter the URL right to get there. No links, but I'm not sure yet how to do this because if you put the links on the just visible there, a lot of people will click on it and just end up you don't have access rights. Like the delete pages, maybe it's equally well to just specify in the URL instead of in the history adding a delete button. I still need to decide such small things, I guess. Okay, we discussed also that we have the different markup languages that we support. The default type today is the Nikit type, the Jean-Claude's wiki style markup. But we support some other things, the markdown. We can do part in HTML, or you can specify a Tcl script. I tried to show some examples. If we still have some time, I don't know. I wasn't looking at.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we have time till 3:30, so we are just in time. But I think Jans and your talk is something we, or really,
I hope you'll save time for questions, or maybe I can.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I can just interrogate you later.
Yeah, I'm only here today. I can't attend tomorrow, so but I won't attend the lunch, the dinner, and so on. So I will attend the dinner. I mean,
I've written down a bunch of questions.
yeah, sure.
Paul, take a photograph and everybody together.
So this is an example of a page which generated by some Tcl commands. So just a doc type Tcl where I run a Tcl script, and you have to generate HTML2 standard output to do it like that.
Everybody can write such a thing?
Yes, but you get a limited amount of CPU in a safe interpreter. So.
Yeah, for the Tcl side, I'm not sure about the generated HTML and the professional perspective.
It's 8.6. We can print a Tcl version. I don't know how to try this live, but hey.
If it became a problem, we'd just restrict it so you have to be given a authority to run them. But we'll start open and see what happens.
So 861.
So, but if this is cached, then
Yeah.
That's,
that's yeah. If you're doing time-dependent things, yeah, of course. That's,
so the way the caching will work eventually, and is we'll tell Cloudflare to cache until otherwise told not to cache, and then on the edit page we'll use the Cloudflare API to invalidate the cache. So the cache will be invalidated after every edit to the page, in which case
Right.
you'll be
So
fine.
if we re-edit the page, it will be
Yeah.
re-executed.
yes.
Yeah.
So if you want to update every second, you will be pretty busy editing. And you have to make a change each time because
We'll edit that once. We'll put a comment in there that says current version or whatever and change that.
So you can also write a full page in HTML or part of a page in HTML. So I just made here this part, HTML part, and I'm using some of the Bootstrap stuff there to draw this.
One of the
It's
reasons
better.
for doing this is we hope to be able to empower someone to re-implement www.tcl.tk. In other words, all the public-facing websites of Tcl, we'd like them to sort of come under the same banner because they look dated. To get a change made to www, now I have to talk to Brad Harder at Active State. He has to find who has maintenance permissions and so on. So we don't see this as stopping with the wiki. We want to empower the community to maintain the community resources.
That's also why we have these access rights and so on that we like for the www. We don't want anyone to be editing there. So document types. There are some special pages. I will skip them. So the welcome text we put it on the entry page. Then you have the message of the day. Today you also see that where sometimes with the link to the conference on the recent changes and so on. And we have the access rules page. That's how I explained earlier how to control access to the wiki. And then we have the privacy statement for the European Union cookie consent thing. I get there.
You'll be all right with that now, Donald.
So I will continue. Like this is for the cookie consent. I can show it, but I will just show the screenshot. You get this this banner here on the bottom. You can do got it. You can here click to the more info, and then you get to the privacy page. If you want to see it, you have to delete your cookie. Yeah, the spam detection. You saw most of that already. You see here with the reCAPTCHA, if it's detected, we use the BOGO filter Bayesian filtering to detect the spam. We need to massage the message a little bit in shape because they try all little tricks to pass that by. If it fails, you get the reCAPTCHA. If the reCAPTCHA fails, we don't save anything, we just reject the edit and you'll notice it. If it passes, we still save it as spam. So we can mark it as non-spam later on, but if the filtering detects it as spam, and it's not spam, we at least need to train the filter to not consider this spam anymore. You see it in the history, and we hide spam from the recent changes. When you have details, you see it. And we show the spam header you saw earlier on.
Is there a page, so just the pages that are marked as spam, so for moderators to go through and say?
I don't have it yet.
It could be if it was necessary, but what we're finding with the existing wiki is the few spam messages that get through, maybe groups of 3 or 4 once a week.
Yeah.
Those are generally cleaned out before I wake up of the morning, and I go back and feed the filter. So the community's onto it, and there's people all around the world watching recent changes. I think it's sufficient for them to be in recent changes, but if it became necessary, we can put another page in there.
You can run the query on it.
Do you have a log of edits that, well, I guess, of course, you got the history log, and that's your log of edits.
Yeah.
You record things like IP address and so forth
Yes.
in that log? So, like, typically spam occurs in bursts from the same IP address.
Yes.
Do you have the ability to delete all changes from a particular IP address within the last 24 hours or something like that?
No, because at the moment it's coming through Cloudflare's IP addresses, so we've got to,
Oh, okay.
but it puts in the headers the originating IP address.
Right. And
The
you're not
spammers are coming.
translating that out right now.
I won't answer that. The problem at the moment is that the spammers are coming in through Tor.
Oh, okay,
And-
so they get my different IP address.
Yeah, and if we go blocking that, we could block out some legitimate users.
Yeah.
So the spammers also, so at some moment it looked as if they could see what we were changing. So we made a change, and like 5 minutes later, they sent the spam with just that little change that make it go through the filters again.
Yeah.
So that's also why we've made all the repositories, the source code repositories on GitHub and on Fossil. We've made them private to
Yeah.
at least block them from spidering on us. We're trying to do
There was one time, Nathan and I were discussing it via mail, there was some guy complaining about Cloudflare, complaining about what had been happening with the wiki. And I think, it was you, Nathan, wasn't it, that said, I think this guy's the puppet master for the spammers. And so we talked to him some more, and I think he was, but maybe not.
So, but still, if you say, okay, I'm interested in, I want to see some of the code, I want to contribute a little bit here and there, just let me know and I can share the repo with you. But just don't want to set it, make it fully public again until we have all these things in place. I think we're almost through the templates.
In case it's not obvious, Joss and I don't have a huge amount of time to put into this, and so any time we put into spam is taking us away from improving the wiki.
So these page templates, they completely determine the look of how it looks. This actually has the HTML in which we substitute the rendered contents of a page. Maybe you can, just some HTML, which calling in the right CSS and JavaScript and making some diffs to show everything, where the menu goes and things like that. Nothing really special. We have one. This one is used to render almost every page for previewing. The Google search, we need some work there, and so on. We have the CSS links and the JavaScript, we have it there. So
And they're all maintained through the wiki itself.
yes.
So we could actually delegate the maintenance of some of this stuff to a person who doesn't necessarily have command line access or CSS, JavaScript, HTML skills. They could just maintain it, use templates through the wiki markup.
Yep. See what is doing the business. So the including of one page in the other is also something more recent. I think I have one small example of this. Top.
Got a test in there to get I guess a loop or reclude.
Yeah. So you see here, I print here, I include the Tcl page I showed earlier, I include the HTML page I showed earlier. Yeah, you see it here with the banner, and then the 861 I added earlier on. The redirecting, you already saw the example. You can specify a reason why this redirect is done. It was a request from Nathan too, I think. He very often said, this page is completely, it's inaccurate, it's redundant. I have a much better page there, I want to redirect it. And then you can also specify why. Or a duplicate, it was also a very good reason. Two things, the same thing explained on multiple pages. Nathan was editing it, all got in one page, and then there were people complaining, why did you remove it there? I was also always looking there, now you do there. So with this redirect, you would always get up to date
The
information.
redirect has to be the first.
Yes, the very first one.
Because if you redirect and you include the page to say, look what it was before.
That's the stuff of headaches.
Yeah.
But this was really, this feature was to deflect the criticism of Nathan, who was quite reasonably, we had a long discussion about, he was trying to improve the quality of the content for someone new coming to the wiki. We didn't want to lose the history associated with it, so this was the way we could have the best of both worlds.
And if you have a redirect page, you can always go to that page itself via specifying something in the URL.
The same page.
Yes. So, yeah, you can include the message of the day in any page. I think I was doing that here, you see, message of the day, if you want to. There are some smaller things. You can include a list of the 10 most recent changes. You can include a table of contents of your page. Let me see if I can show something of that. Table of contents. I think it is. So if you have here the page, you will see here, when you specify headers, you will get them in the menu, but you can edit and ask to have a table of contents at the beginning of your page. See, then you get it there. So to make it easier to, when you have a longer page, you can, or through the menu or through this to these links. The categories, it's already there today, but there's an alternative syntax to call it tags. I think we're almost there. You can specify inline HTML in your page. The back references, you can ask who's referencing my own page, or you can include back reference to another page. The discussions, maybe, yeah, it's already present in the current wiki too, but we took it. And then there's we can have tables specified 1 row per line with this kind of syntax, or we can specify one field, one table element per line with an alternative syntax. So these two will give you the same table, so with a slightly different syntax. This more looks like what Wikipedia is doing. This can become very unreadable if you have a little bit more than one letter of text in a cell. So, something like that. And then, yeah, some special characters that you might need to, I missed a larger than there. So to break a line, to insert a space, or to include a pipe character in a table definition. So that's about it. I wanted to tell and show. So I hope we can discuss all those things today, later on. Yeah, I must say, nothing has been really decided when to go live with it, in what format. We're open to any feedback, comments.
What we're thinking of doing, I suggested it, I don't know Josh's thoughts, but maybe we set it up for the next month or two running in parallel with the wiki, and each night have it convert across, and we'll put a banner on the top of each page saying things like edits won't stick, something like that. And that way people can use it or maybe run it read-only, and that way people can at least start using it and telling us if it works for them. I think that could work actually.
Yeah.
So maybe once a day.
So, if you have questions now or later today.
I would suspect there are lots of questions, but I think we are a little bit out of time.
I'm sorry
let
about
them discuss everything what they have. I think we have the coffee break, we have the evening event, and we have the discussion later on. So maybe if there are questions related to the wiki, these can be given. So we.
Yeah, don't stop. You can send us a mail the following days, weeks, months about it. Don't hesitate.
So,
we know this is something that is widespread use to the Tcl community. So please, if you see bugs or want new things in it or see extra functionality, let us know.
So I would say thanks to Steve and Jos. I